Ever done your keyword research by manually opening up an incognito window and typing in the search term? Enjoying your
Dan, Dan, you need to go to the restroom link that I sent you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yvner Dorso with you live with Yvner Dorso. It is so exciting to be here with you, to share this space with you this lovely afternoon. Today is going to be amazing. When I say amazing, it's going to be amazing. Uh, our guest today is from Canada. Him is Dan Monahan. He is the CEO of Funnel Builder Marketing. He's been through a lot, from addiction to every ups and down in the world, and especially a prolonged battle with crack cocaine. He is now an expert funnel builder, website developer, graphic designer, and copywriter and automation strategist. Dan has battled both addictions and more issues with drugs. He is also an overcomer. He overcame depression and won. He is now on a mission to help others do the same by sharing his story and how he made it out alive again. And now I would like to introduce you to my good friend, Dan Monahan, out of Calgary, Canada. Dan, how are you, my friend? I love that shirt, Freedom.
Freedom Crusaders Alliance, brother.
I like it. I love it, brother.
That's good. Me too.
Awesome, awesome. And I have something interesting too. I gotta show it to you. It says, if you change nothing, nothing will
Nothing
change.
will change. I used that in a quote the other day.
Really? That's my brand,
Almost.
actually.
Is it? Not quite that. I said if you don't change, nothing will change. But
Right, right. So I have that actually in my merch store on my website, evenadorso.com. Oh man, how are you doing, man? How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Sorry for the delay getting onto the restream. I thought we were on Clubhouse here. I started the room there. I'm like, where is this guy? Messaging you in the back
Yeah,
chat.
so I'm trying to have it on the Clubhouse, but I don't get it quite yet. So it seems like I have to look at the technology and trying to do the Clubhouse and the other platforms at the same time. But for now, we are actually streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Twitch at the same time.
Amazing.
At the same time. Awesome, awesome. Then, you and I, and I've said that to you before, it's your energy that attracts people to you. And you have that energy. And every time someone has an opportunity to listen to you, you always transfer that energy to them, and I want you to know that because I appreciate you. And I'm sure the audience will also love you, man. But, and again, man, let's get started. So, and I know as the title of our live today is how to rebuild your life after a drug addiction. And your story is so great, and I believe it's going to help other people and change. I don't know if you were watching the intro when I said that Dan has battled both addictions and he's also overcame depression and won. You overcame depression and won, and now you are on a mission to help others do the same by sharing your story and how you made it alive. Then welcome to Live with Eve there, my friend. So the first thing first, man, I want to ask you. I want to first ask you first. You know, tell me. Tell the audience and where you are now, and I know I may have said it incorrectly. Where you are now, and where did you grow up?
Well, yeah, thank you. And thank you all for listening. Those of you that you are, and if you haven't, please share this with a friend because my story, as I'm going to walk you through this journey, I hope that maybe it won't relate to you, but I guarantee you there's somebody that you know that's going to need to hear that it's possible for them. The point in sharing a story is to build relation and similarities of those experiences and things that you've gone through or that someone else has. So you were correct. I am in Calgary, Alberta now.
Oh, got it.
I love the mountains. If you guys have not seen the Rocky Mountains, I highly recommend at some point in your life you take a trip and you go, whether that be in the upper states in the U.S. or in Canada, BC and Alberta, beautiful country. As a kid, I grew up out this way. I grew up in Devon as a ski racer as a kid, so I spent a lot of time in the mountains. If you met me at 14, I was going to the Olympics in my mind, anyways, for sure. But I got to train with the Canadian team, and my role models were Herman Meyer and Eddie Podovinsky. Fast forward a couple of years, I had a bad accident. I blew up my knee, and then the following year, my mom got a business opportunity in Winnipeg or Peg City. It took me to Winnipeg at 16. You're gonna go where mom goes. Didn't plan on that. Didn't want to go, but you go where mom goes. Like I said, anyway, I kind of rebelled against my mom. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to leave all my friends. I didn't. I was sad too because wasn't doing what I loved doing anymore. And I started to experiment with drugs, party too much, drink, smoke weed. At 16, I had a Porsche 928, Yevner. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, you had the first 28?
No, I had a Porsche 928 at 16.
Oh, 928.
Yeah.
Like a fancy race car.
Yeah, kind of. They kind of had a hunchback. It's a V8 4-seater Porsche.
Fast
expensive car to have gas in. Anyways, expensive gas. Especially for a 16-year-old who started to smoke weed. But I was hanging out with my buddy one day. The reason why I had a Porsche is because I was kind of an entrepreneur as a kid. My whole life, I'd already saved up $8,000. My mom and my grandma. Sorry. Yeah. But it's expensive to have and to drive and. Anyway, I was hanging out with my buddy one day, and he gets an ounce for $180. I literally saw. I was like, "You mean I can get my weed for free?" This is literally my reaction. Like almost instantly. I love math. I'm good at math. So anyway, then I learned about this day. I don't know if you ever heard of 420 before.
Yes, I heard the word 420 every time they refer to weed.
Yeah. So 420 is April 20th. And on that day, they would let everybody go to the legislative grounds in Canada, and they wouldn't arrest them. It was legal. They could smoke weed.
Wow.
So I was like, you're telling me they're going to bring all my customers to one place? Shut the front door. So anyway, I went and got the phone number 471-9333. That's 471 weed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 20 years ago almost. So there was no area codes here to worry about. It was just, the 204 was just, I don't even know when even mentioned it. So anyway, I showed up there with 100 business cards and half a pound of dope. And everybody that bought a gram, I gave a gram too. It said 471 weed, a little pot leaf on it. By the end of May, my phone was moving like 10 pounds a week. When my mom found out, she tried to smarten me up. She said, "If smart dad, that's not good. You can't be doing that." I said, "What you mean, Mama? I make more money than you." I moved out. Thought I ran the world, fast forward 2 years, though. My grandma, who I lived with for the first few years of my life, that's why I've asked if there's any parents here. My grandma was very much like my mom in a lot of ways. She got cancer for the second time. I watched her slip away to a tumor the size of a grapefruit and slowly lose her mind. I remember days sometimes that, by then I graduated from the weed game to the crack game, and I was just in a whole world of crazy. But my grandma, she moved into my house that I had, and she was living with me. I used to come home sometimes 4 or 5 in the morning, pockets full of cash, and sit up on my bed, be sort it out, count it out. I would hear my grandma. I love you with all my hearty. I love you with all my hearty. I love you with all my hearty. Not sleeping. I think she was talking to me, but I don't know. It really started to mess my head up. So I started to party too much. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. I started to drink, do coke, eat, party with girls, fast life. I was up for a couple of days one time, partying, doing hustling life, partying with this dime piece, South St. Patel. Couldn't get any coke because I wasn't a big drug, coke or user, whatever. I was kind of new to using drugs. But I had a bunch of hard there, though, a bunch of crack, because I was selling that. But I was a smart businessman. I didn't even reload my workers. Anyway, this girl said, well, let's just do some of that. I said, no, because I listened to 50 Cent. Don't get high on your own supply, right? But she persuaded me that it was a good idea because she got high, and then she, I took that hoot. And in that moment, I became crack's bitch.
Wow. So Dan, how were you introduced to crack cocaine, and what led you to start using it?
Well, that was that right there. That girl convinced me that it's the same thing. I said I'd been doing coke for a couple of days, and I had slept in almost 2 days, right? And couldn't get any. But I had that drug there. I had that crack, and she said it's the same thing. I've done it. It's the same thing. It's whatever. I said no. Well, if you want to go get high, go for it. I'm not gonna say no. So she went off and got high, and then she came up on the bed and crawled up on the bed all naked and said, "Here, smoke this while I." Okay.
You tried.
I took that hoot, and in that moment, I lost myself. I went to a whole new world of feeling, explosion of bliss, escape from the pain that I was under. I was under so much pain. I just watched my grandma die to slow and painful battle with crack and to cancer. Sorry, I was like I said, I was partying with, I was drinking lots, I was doing coke like crazy. There's days I probably popped 100 caps of E. How I'm still alive, I don't understand.
Wow.
But for that brief moment, I think that first moment, I got this, that just something in that drug. It just made me feel so good. And feel not the pain anymore. And so that's how, though, in that moment, that and then I couldn't shake it, even though I knew better, even though everybody tried. Lots of people tried to change me or to help me to change. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, no one can change anyone else.
It's you.
We have to change ourselves.
Right.
I don't expect my story to change anyone, but I hope that by me sharing this and what I've gone through and where I am and where I'm going can help you too.
Wow, so powerful. Now, so you talked about some girl got you started with it, and then you try it, and which is what most people with any addiction, someone had to expose you to it, and you try it, and you start doing it again. So how long exactly did you do the drugs like the crack and the cocaine?
Well, yeah, I battled with addiction for nearly 14 years.
Wow.
Um, that almost, yeah. And you know what's crazy too is of that 14 years, I spent almost 12 of them locked up.
12 months?
12 years.
12 years locked up.
Yeah. But not straight. Not straight, no.
So back and forth, in and out.
Yeah, like a revolving door. I have 168 convictions, Yevner. Convictions.
168.
Yeah. Count them. I have my records. I don't know how many charges. Lots. Too many. And my point on sharing that is that it doesn't matter what you've done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the reason why I share where I was and what I did before is because I can't change it.
Right.
I can't undo it. I can't go back. But I changed today. I'm changing tomorrow.
Yes, the future.
Yeah. I've changed. I've changed. I'm I'm not hurt anymore like that. Broken people, ladies and gentlemen, cannot heal people. Broken people can't help people. And I'm definitely not broken anymore.
Right. I mean, you're whole, and this is one of the things that anybody listening to you, you have a message, and I listening to your story, what I see that you have been able to do is to change that mess into a message. You have changed your mess into a message, and that message is helping a lot of people, and people watching right now, and who will be watching later, and going through any type of addiction, whether it's drugs, alcohol. I mean, they're all the same. Drugs and alcohol. You can change. It's just help. You gotta get the help. You got to get the help. So another question that I have for you, Dan. What were some of the worst things that you experienced while using?
Well, thank you for that question. You know, sorry, thank you for that question. I haven't really so I want to because I really want to help people to get to show people where I'm going and how I got there. So I'm gonna kind of fast track through that 14 years.
Sure, sure.
Um, when I first started to use, I had lots of money, just balling. I had lots of drugs. It's really easy to go run off to a hotel with a girl and get high for 2 days, 3 days without talking to anybody. And it was blissful and it was fun and it was great. But then I slowly started to make my life go crazy. I started to lose control of my business. I stopped being responsible.
Mhm.
And because of that, my business started to suffer, and then the money started to suffer, and then I went back to jail. When you're in jail, your business doesn't run.
Mhm.
And so when I got back out and I had the same habits, the same spending habits too, especially spending money I didn't have, spending money that wasn't mine for the immediate gratification. See, one of the things my mom taught me really good was delayed gratification in life. Taught me the value of saving today for tomorrow. Instead of, using it now, let's put it off and save it for later, because then we can get a bigger, better reward. There's a delayed gratification in having more. battling an addiction, you lose that sense of ability to restrain, to hold off. I'm all in, at least when you're addicted, for sure. And so I spent a lot of time really chasing it in immediate gratification, trading things that I'd say give so much value, stuff for things I traded off to get something in that moment, and it never lasts. That's one of the most painful things. I wish I had smartened up faster. So much stuff that I traded for the short-term immediate gain. That's a big pain. I wish I had, stuff I left because I thought that getting the high was going to be the reward that I really wanted. That would probably be one of the biggest things. Yeah. I've been surrounding myself with people that took advantage of me because they didn't care about me. They cared about what I could do for them. Or about the drugs I had, or about the money I had, or about that I was going to buy the drugs from them, or go and get drugs and do with them, or whatever. I experienced many, lots of evil in this world, especially they're battling addiction. I've been in over 100 fights in my life. Some of them because I'm white. A lot of them for a while. Yeah. I don't like racism. I don't know why people can't forgive someone for being a different color than them, but there's no difference between you and I.
That's right.
Anyway, that's a big pain. I had lots of that. Yeah. And then betrayal right at the end, before I changed my life. How that happened was on March 20th of 2017. I was in the Stony Mountain Penitentiary, finishing a 5-year sentence that it was split up at 5 years. Went back and I got jumped by my crew, homies.
Your homies?
My homies, my bros. They weren't really my bros. I got beat into a coma. When I came out of the coma, I didn't understand how I was still here. I woke up, I cursed God. I'm still here. I had a lot of time, nearly 2 months of recovery in a hospital bed and or medical unit. And in that time, I started to ask myself that question. Why am I here? The only answer I come up with was that I've been lying to myself for far too long. That was nearly 4 years ago. And I'll be the change I wish to see in the world now. Right. The reason why is because I spent a long time thinking about what is it that I wanted and what is it that I loved and what did I really want to get out of my life. I know my grandma, for instance, did not want me to be there in that point. Neither did many other people. So when I think about those moments when I'm giving up, I think about them and I think about what I want. I think about my daughter, who I know I can't be in her life if I'm in that one. And it's really cut and dried. It's that simple. It's, do I want that life or do I want this life? I choose this one every time. And that's because I attach these emotions of joy and pleasantry and fun and excitement and happiness to it. On the other side of that, I remember that if I do the other thing, all that hurt, that pain, the betrayal, the loss, and the loneliness will be there. And I use that too because we as humans, all of us, as much as we like to go towards pleasure for that, we avoid pain.
Hmm.
And so I avoid the pain. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Do you have
Yes,
any
it
more?
did. Yes, it did. Yes, we do have some more questions, but before we do, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching live with Ivna Duraso, and we have our amazing guest today, Dan Monahan, out of Calgary, Canada. And the topic we're discussing today is how to rebuild your life after a drug addiction. And before we go any further, we're gonna go ahead and take a short break, and we'll be back with Dan Monahan.
Every day when we wake up to a world ruled by fear, blinded by hatred, and ripped apart by differences. On some days, we're the victims, and on others, the perpetrators. Humanity is breached by a huge divide, and every day, the tear gets worse. Millions of people are affected. How can we heal the world?
Hello, we are back. Again, this is Yvonne Dorso live with Yvonne Dorso. We are back with Dan Monahan out of Calgary, Canada, and Dan is telling us today his story, a story that can help you if you are going through any type of addiction, whether it's drug, cocaine, alcohol, and you want to listen to this man. His story can really help you what went through and what went on and how he was able to recover from that. And then welcome back to Live with Ivna Duraso. And the next question that I have for you, my friend, and I'm sure you probably were about to touch that uh, before we went on the break. So when did you finally decide to get clean and sober? And what led you to that decision?
Thank you. Yes, it was pretty much where I was going. So in on November 20th, 2017, I got jumped and beat into a coma when I went back to jail because this lifer, uh, who's no longer with us, his name is Ty,
Mhm.
told me that I had to do something when I got out. He tried to extort me to go pick up a package and go back to jail. Tried to claim that the reason why is because he let me stay in pop after my brother, he's like my brother's name is Mike, uh, ripped him off. Said I had to go pick this up and go back and come back with it. And if I didn't do it within a week, don't come back. I
Mhm.
told him, I said, I'm not going to do it. But then I did go back and I got jumped and beat into a coma. And when I came out of it, I did feel that's guys. Why am I here? I don't understand. Shouldn't be. I felt like such a goof. I was so worthless, so useless, so crappy. I had a lot of time though to heal. It beat me pretty good. Recovering from a traumatic brain injury, and my ribs were shattered, and my orbital bone and all this stuff was all busted. I had a lot of time to ask myself that question. Why am I here? Not just alive, but why am I in jail? Why would I allow myself to get lost like this? What's the point? Is this what I want? And the answer to those questions was no. I didn't, and I didn't want to be there, and I didn't want that. And I knew other people didn't. And I started to have a glimpse that maybe I should change. I started to believe maybe I could change. I heard about it from other people. And so how I did was I made that choice. I said, I'm gonna change. I don't want to be around this anymore. I don't want to be around these people anymore. And I did the hard thing. This is hard, everyone. This is hard. I let go of all them people. I deleted part of my life. And I went around different people.
You change your circle. You change your environment.
Yeah. I left Peg City. I left Winnipeg. I left that jail. I left those people. Stopped calling them. I stopped writing letters. I stopped being around. And when I got out, I didn't go back. I stayed out. I stayed gone. I stayed in Alberta. And I started to work on me. One of my favorite quotes is from Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn, yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah. So, I didn't know about personal development really before, right? But when I got out, I got a flood of it because I came across a Tony Robbins video. And then Gary Vee, and then Grant Cardone, and Jim Rohn, and all the many other mentors that I watched from a distance before. And now I get to have conversations with people like Brian Tracy or Dennis Waitley or so many, Manny, and this because of Clubhouse. But my favorite quote from Jim Rohn: "You want life to get better? Then you've got to get better."
That's right.
And I really, that hit me like a ton of bricks when I heard it. And I knew that. And so I started to get better. I started to work on me. I started to work on my belief. I started to write down my goals. I started to work on getting better skills. And life's amazing. If you want to know why, if you want to know why I got so much energy all the time, because I chose to get better.
Yes.
And that right there, that's the secret. I got better. I had belief. I wrote it down. I still write it down every day. Talking to myself right now. I got to write it down every day. Not you. I'm talking to me. I hold myself accountable. I say that every day.
I do the same thing too. I write stuff down. I'm like, they're like, why you write it down? Well, you have to write it down so you can have something. You can see what you wrote down. Like in my office, I have a whiteboard. I know that I have my phone. I have the Note app, and I have an iPad. But it's a different thing when you hold that marker or the pen or pencil, write it down. That's right.
Write it down.
Write it down. So if you have a
Put
goal,
it in your phone too. put it in your phone. Don't. I'm not saying don't use the phone, but write it down.
Right. If you have a goal, you have to write it down.
Have a planner too.
Yes, have a planner. Like it. So, what would you say, Dan, ultimately help you get clean and stay clean? Because you've been an awesome, very awesome guy for a while now. And I know people listening to the story now will be like, okay, so this is how it happened. So, what ultimately helped you get and stay clean? Because it had to be hard, right?
Well, in a way, so when I got jumped and beat into a coma, I was back in jail. I wasn't done my sentence. Actually, I was back just shy of 13 months from the time that I went back, got beat into a coma, and then got released. I went back on November 14th. We just crossed that day. That technically was a sober day. 4 years technically was 4 years on November 14th because I did use drugs that day. But I got locked up. I was definitely flying. So yeah, I've been over 4 years sober now. I realized I was thinking about that. Yeah, we're at 4 years now. And we just crossed it. Anyway, it's kind of cool. But on November 20th, I got beat into a coma, and then on December 6th, the following year, that was 2018, is when I got out. So I wasn't because I was already in jail. Jail's not like in the States. First off, we don't have a lot of drugs here. Weed,
In Canada?
shatter. Yeah, there's weed and shatter. That's the drug of choice. And then of course, I guess there is down and stuff. And I experimented with heroin, but I wasn't using it. It wasn't a thing for me. Didn't like that. I didn't like that feeling. So I never really had a problem with that. And so my choices in jail were weed and shatter. And weed saved my life. Cannabis saved my life. But the coke and the crack and the meth wasn't there. Not really. I mean, when it was there, I avoided it because I said I didn't want this no more. Because, and the reason why and how, to answer your question, is I attached emotions, as I said before, to it. I took a piece of paper one day and I started to write down on one side where my life would be in 5 years if I did this, if I did the thing I was supposed to do, if I followed through. What was the things I was going to accomplish? Who was I going to serve? Where was I going to be in my life? What am I going to have? How am I going to feel? On the other side of it, in 5 years, if I don't do these things, I wrote down all of these, all the other side of it. And if you can tell from I just even thinking about it, the reaction, the emotion inside of it, I attached the emotion to it. The sadness to why I wouldn't, how I would feel. And that's how right there. I wrote down, and so I wrote down in 5 years I'd be, if I didn't do this, what would my life be like in 5 years? How would I feel? Where would my daughter, where would my mom be? How could I be able to help them? What would my life be like? And I attached emotion to it. And it breaks my heart every time I start thinking about it like it is right now. And that's how. So you need to write it down. What do you want? You were sober and you want that other life? Dream for a second now with me. In 5 years, where will your life be like? What will you be doing? Who will you be able to help? Where are you going to live? What are you going to do every day? How's that going to make you feel? On the other side of it, if you don't change, you stay on this path, If you don't get out, if you don't do the hard thing now, where's your life going to be like? How are you going to be able to have relationships with people? What are they going to be like? How are you going to feel? If 5 years isn't enough time, do 10 years. Think that far. Attach emotion to it. You want to change your life? How do you want to feel now or in 5 years or in 10 years? It's really easy. And the reason why I say do both is because we, as much as we like going after something that's nice and pleasurable and fun, we avoid pain faster. We'll go to that. So use both.
You must have had a big why, Dan. To decide. You've been doing something for 14 years. You've gone through so much, and I can see the emotions every time. Every time you talk about it, I can see the emotion. I can see the pain that you went through. You must have had a big why you decided to get clean and stay sober. What was that why?
Rob, I have a daughter after a beautiful baby girl. She's 15 right away.
Wow.
That's my why. I want to be a great dad. I want to be able to be a dad. I want to be in her life. Serious?
Wow. 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 So we'll be back. We're going to take our last break. And then we'll be back with that question for Dan, which is the final question. Basically, Dan is going to tell us, anybody going through this right now, what advice they have for them. So we'll be back with Dan Monahan today to have that conversation. So we'll be right back.
Human race is unique. Despite our many differences, religion, beliefs, race, skin color, or personal prejudices, there's still one thing that holds our world together. We are all human. We have, however, failed to see the beauty in the uniqueness of humankind, and this is only because we have been blinded by hate, bigotry, envy, and fear. We have let hatred rule us, even divide us, and fear keeps us from fixing the mess. But it's time to wake up and see that everyone is created equal, perfect, and no different. Yes, it is true that people have been born into unequal circumstances, which oftentimes leads them to make choices either good or bad, but we are still the same regardless. At this point, you may be asking, how can this be? This book will help you find out how there are no differences at all. Hello there. You should know that no matter the color of your skin, race, gender, economic rank, sexual identity, or social status, we are all human before anything else. In our diversities, we can still achieve oneness. Hatred may have ripped us apart, but there is still a way to mend the tear if only we can fix ourselves first. Letting the uniqueness of the human race reflect inward, and then to the outside, healing the human race. It is important that we mend the tear, and more importantly, that we do it now. This book will serve as a guide to healing.
Hello, we are back with Dan Monahan talking about how to rebuild your life after a drug addiction. And we talk about life all the time, rebuilding a life. We have one life. When we fall, Got to get up. Got to get up strong. And that's what Dan did. He fell several times, but he kept getting up. He kept getting up. And now he is Dan the funnel builder. And we'll talk about that a little bit at the end, Dan. And but before we do that, uh, the last question that I want to ask you about your story is, what advice would you give to those struggling with crack and cocaine addiction and looking for a way out? What advice you know would you give to someone like that?
I love
I
the
like
question.
that.
Love the question. I would ask you a question. What do you want? And how does that make you feel? And I would ask you to focus on that. I would ask you to figure out that feeling. And then write it down. And my advice would be to chase after the feeling that you want and avoid the one that you don't. Remember, I said this at the beginning, we cannot change anyone else. A lot of people try to change me, help me, get me, convince me, encourage me, guide me. I didn't want to listen to any of it. And I have a feeling that you won't either. But once I decided what I wanted, once I figured out those emotions, and I remembered that if I acted in a certain way, my life would be the ever-improving story that I was able to tell myself. Because the law of attraction says so. It's a law. So it's really simple, actually. It's really simple. You act in a certain way, your life is a certain way. And which feeling do you want? That's simple. That's the advice I give.
Wow. 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 Uh, wow. This is so powerful, Dan. This is so powerful. In the next few minutes, we'll talk about for the audience as far as what you're doing right now, and I know that currently, and I will share that for the audience as you speak on it. You are then the funnel builder. So businesses looking to have a funnel, they want to have a funnel for the business, the organization. You can help them with that. As I go on this page talking about it, uh, talk to the viewers and how you can help them with the new Dan.
Well, thank you for the question. I did. I sent you that because I really want people to first off realize what Clubhouse is. If you guys don't know about Clubhouse, it's an amazing platform. It's social audio. That's the future of marketing, of business, of if you want to take it to the next level. And if you're interested in getting a cheat sheet on Clubhouse and being one of the first to get offer on my book when it comes released here next month, then you definitely want to go to dansbook.club. If you want to find out more about me, danmonahan.ca.com.club, all of them, I own them all, but danmonahan.ca, that's the main site that if you enter, I have it set for a capture page. It's really cool. Yevner, you should enter your information and go to the next page. That would be great for people to see since you're on it.
Right here?
Just throw in your info, and then it's a capture page that goes to my website, which is access to my blog and all the different services and things that I do. But yeah, I'm a funnel builder. I like to teach people how to be able to serve the people you're meant to serve. And
Awesome.
so and so if you go in there, and if you go to products, you'll see a bunch of different
Welcome
templates.
you there.
Yeah, that's right. Carried your information over, and then that's access to my blog and to how to be able to scale. And those are all different types of templates. If you clicked on, then you would go to that page and you go back. And anyways, yeah, it's just so that's what I do. I'm in the business of helping people to learn how to, and then to be able to serve those that you're meant to serve. And I use a system that's a funnel system. It's like ClickFunnels, but it's a lot better because it's 4 or 12 times as cheap. It's only $25
Hopefully more
a month.
affordable. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Hopefully more affordable.
Yeah, it's $25 a month for the hosting, and then what I really love about it is the community that it comes with, and the fact that the system pays 80% commissions for every referral. So It costs 25, but of that 25, 20 of it comes to me, and for the life of you being a customer. And so the same thing applies to you. When you refer people, then it's $20 goes to you every time you refer someone. And so and by the way, after the site, I'm still building it. It's beta, and anyways, but yeah,
I'm a big fan of affiliate marketing, so it makes sense. So every time I buy something, I make sure that they have an affiliate program. This way, I don't just give you the money, but I also benefit as well. It's just awesome. Great. So Dan, thank you so very much, my brother. It's been such an honor. You had me on your Clubhouse live before. You know what? I gotta have you because your story can help so many people, and even every day. It's not just in Canada. Canada may have a problem, but it's also in the U.S. too, my friend. We have the issue of drugs and alcohol. That's everywhere in the world. Teenagers, and you started when you were a teenager. Teenager going through this is just so difficult if they don't get the help, and sometimes they don't have any friends or family member that can guide them, you know, to a solution that can get them free. So, like your T-shirt says, freedom. So you are now free, because if you're addicted to any type of drug or alcohol, you're not free. You're not free. So when you become sober, you don't feel the need to do it anymore. You're free. So your story is so powerful, and I do believe it's going to not just inspire people, but it's going to help people get their own breakthrough as you did get your own breakthrough. So thank you so very much for being on my show today, and I hope that one day we'll talk about your book. I hope the next time we hear, we're gonna talk about Addicted to the Crack House. So, would you tell them a little bit about the book? What is the book about? I know what this is about, but what someone who's going to be buying the book can expect to gain?
Awesome, great question. So the purpose then it's actually the second book I started to write, and I'm releasing it first. But I have another book I'm working on. That's I Conquered My Addiction. You can too, and that's my story.
Oh, powerful title.
Addicted to the Crack House is because I came to Clubhouse in January. Second day I was there, I was on stage with Tony Robbins. That was it. I was hooked.
Wow.
But then at the end of January, I had a really bad experience on Clubhouse because there's good people and there's bad people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the feelings that I was getting from it, and so I deleted the app. I didn't use it at all in February, March, half of March. Someone that I connected with though had reached out to me and brought me back to the app, and then I said, okay, so I went back and was on the social media show, which is in Breakfast with Champions now, and then I connected with Manny and so anyway, so the book is before Clubhouse and right before the end of December, I literally given up working on my second book I mentioned. I'd also given up on myself, contemplated killing myself.
Oh.
And I was just doing bad things with myself. I was in a really dark place, and the reason why is because I reconnected with my daughter, and then she was yanked away from my life again, and I was just experiencing a whole bunch of negative emotions that I was compounding, of course, and putting into my mind. And then I discovered Clubhouse and the potential, and that people actually cared, that my story mattered, because I felt before that it didn't. And so the book is about that briefly, right, all that stuff and the emotions that I felt, and then how I went from that and discovered potential in myself, and how to use the app, how to be able to build community, how to find the right people versus the wrong, what the benefits are for you as a person, entrepreneur, or a business owner who's looking to expand their market, their outreach, their impact. And how do you do it in a good way? Right, right, because you can get around people and you can make business partners in a conversation or two. Instead of having 22 touch points, which is the average, you need 22 touch points before someone's willing to cross the transactional bridge. The first time they're willing to pull out their credit card to make a purchase from you. That's a lot of touches. That's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of money. But you can get into a conversation with someone on Clubhouse and they'll just feel your vibe. And next thing you know, you got a new business partner from one conversation.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's 22 times faster.
Fast. Very fast.
And the point of the potential of collaboration, and so yeah, so the book is that there's hope in the world, and how you use the app effectively. How do you the different things that I've learned? How do you stand out? How do you get up on stage? How do you listen? Ladies and gentlemen, we all have two ears and one mouth. It took me a long time to realize that too, as I used to. Sometimes I had this thought I wanted to say and that, but I wasn't listening to the conversation. So I join in the conversation and I start talking about something completely different from what they were talking about. That's something that doesn't fit well. It makes you like, he isn't even listening to me. And so it's about how do you listen, and then how do you stand out when you speak, and how do you get up on stage, and how do you build community. And that's what the book's about.
Awesome. And listening is very important. And many times, and you host a lot of big rooms on the Clubhouse, and I've seen you host rooms with like a couple hundred people before. And sometimes I just go and just be a student, just listen. Not all the time I would open my mic and speak, even though sometimes in most rooms, every time I come in, they just open my mic. But you know what? I just want to listen. And you're right. We have two of these. We have one. That means that we ought to use these a lot. If we use these a lot, better, when this opens, it creates a much bigger effect. Awesome. Great, Dan. It was so great having you today, man. Uh, your story has really touched me. Uh, Now I know you much better now, much better, and I know you as someone uh, who is a contributor to making this world a better place. And as you know, my goal in life is to make the world a better place because I don't think the animals, the rocks and the trees can make this world better. It is up to us to change this world, and we all have a story, and our story can help change lives. Our story can help change other people, and when we share our story, we can help someone understand theirs. So, for example, someone going through drug addiction right now, after hearing your story, they can start to understand their situation. And there's going to be a spark in the head, a signal in the head. You know what? I can do it too. I can break through. I can get out. I can be free. This is what your story will do. And when we tell our stories, and you are a very good storyteller. I don't know if you know anyone told you that, but you are a storyteller. And I cannot wait to see you on big stages and sharing your story and change lives and make this world a better place. I love you, my brother.
I love you too. Thank you. And yes, I think I'm getting okay at telling stories. That's because I've been listening a lot to amazing speakers, people like Manny Fernandez, uh, and many people like you. You're a good storyteller too.
Thank you.
I listen, and I've learned that less is more, and sometimes a pause before you finish the sentence is a very powerful technique. And I hope that was valuable for somebody that's an up and coming speaker and have energy. Get excited and love what you do. Because if you love what you do, it never feels like work. Let me tell you, you have trouble turning this off.
You're right. You're right. And the excitement, you create that excitement. Don't wait for people to get you excited. It's all right here. You create your excitement. I mean, right now, to be honest with you, there is so much going on in my space that I can tell you that I shouldn't be excited for. There's so much going on that I should be crying. But you know what? You know why I won't cry? I have breath in my lungs. I am
Man, it's a
breathing.
good thing too, because I'd be lonely on this stage without you.
I am breathing. That alone, I woke up this morning. I did not see my name on the, what is it, obituary.com, legacy.com. These are some of those websites where they list people who passed away. So my name was not on any of them. So I'm blessed and highly favored. And I use that same sentence as you blessed and highly favored. So thank you so much, Dan, for being on the show today. And so you're doing an Instagram screenshot?
Yeah. No, I was ignoring my phone. I have 11 messages.
All right. So that's what I like the live thing, man. It's relaxed. It's relaxed. No editing. It's just real people, real host on the show. Real stuff, real people. So I appreciate you, brother. So I will end the live now, and I look forward to help you promote your book because it's going to be magical. It's going to help. It's going to help people.
Yes. And I look forward to also future collaborations, my friend. Thank you so much for your time today, everyone that's listened. I hope you got some value. I can't wait to reshare this and to help more people discover a like regardless. Y'all haven't got his book. Go get his book. All right. I'm gonna pop
And yeah, as you said it, if someone is in the United States and you need a signed copy, you can text 918-215-6396, 918-6315-6396, or if you're anywhere else in the world, you can always get it online. Thank you so much, everyone. You have a wonderful evening.
The human race is unique. Despite our many differences, religion, beliefs, race, skin color, or personal prejudices, there's still one thing that holds our world together. We are all human. We have, however, failed to see the beauty and the uniqueness of humankind, and this is only because we have been blinded by hate, bigotry, envy, and fear. We have let hatred rule us, even divide us, and fear keeps us from fixing the mess. But it's time to wake up and see that everyone is created equal, perfect, and no different. Yes, it is true that people have been born into unequal circumstances, which oftentimes leads them to make choices either good or bad, but we are still the same regardless. At this point, you may be asking, how can this be? This book will help you find out how there are no differences at all. Hello there. You should know that no matter the color of your skin, race, gender, economic rank, sexual identity, or social status, we are all human before anything else. In our diversities, we can still achieve oneness. Hatred may have ripped us apart, but there is still a way to mend the tear if only we can fix ourselves first, letting the uniqueness of the human race reflect inward, and then to the outside, healing the human race. It is important that we mend the tear, and more importantly, that we do it now. This book will serve as a guide to healing.